Good, I don't want any rudeness. Jessica, please welcome Jessica, our last storyteller.
Maybe a little. Okay, that's good. Sometimes when I'm looking at my boyfriend and thinking about loving him forever, I hug him really tight and I whisper in his ear, if we get married, promise me no matter what that you'll never, ever murder me. And I say this to him because I have obsessive compulsive disorder. And for a lot of people, OCD is being obsessed with germs or cleaning. But for me, OCD is an endless marathon of the movie Faces of Death projecting onto my brain. I spend my days creating scenarios that end in me dying a horrific death, usually at the hands of another person. Sometimes I'll picture my head smashing into a windshield, or I'll picture my head smashing into the floor at the bottom of a stairwell, or I'll be sitting in a restaurant eating a fancy sandwich, and then someone will come up and shoot me in the head. And I usually find myself wishing that it was socially acceptable to wear a helmet 24 hours a day. But I don't wear a helmet, partly because my boyfriend told me if it ever comes to that, he would break up with me, but also because I don't want fear to run my life. So I usually just cross my fingers and hope for the best. About a year ago, I went to a machine gun rally in the Arizona desert. I'd been making a podcast about different kinds of enthusiasts, and in a hopeful moment, I thought I was the type of person who could handle being around thousands of killing machines operated by men who wear t-shirts that say things like, I like you best, I'll kill you last. They filled porta potties up with dynamite and shot at them until they exploded. And in their more tender moments, they showed me pictures of their 6-year-olds playing with semi-automatic weapons. Within hours of being there, a man named Mike pulled up on an ATV, and he invited me to go see a waterfall with him. Despite the fact that he had 2 handguns strapped to his waist, I accepted his invitation because I didn't want to offend him by making him think I was afraid he would rape me and then strangle me with his snakeskin belt. His girlfriend Tammy was waiting at the bottom of the hill for us. She was a heavy-set woman with a long mullet, and she was on her own ATV. Instead of being relieved by this, I just scrapped the rape scenario and replaced it with the idea that Mike had said I was prettier than her, and now she was going to force him to kill me as an apologetic gesture. So I came up with a 3-tier game plan as we rode these ATVs into the middle of nowhere in the desert. 1, I would take as many pictures as possible and then drop my flashcards somewhere around the future crime scene. 2, I would talk about my boyfriend a lot to make them realize I wasn't a threat. And 3, I would make them like me by paying them lots of compliments. The 30-minute ride, I took tons of pictures while shouting stuff like, "Your hair looks so awesome blowing in the wind while you ride that ATV. Let me take a picture." Or, "What kind of gun is that on your waist?" "No, the one on the right side." "Yeah, that one. My boyfriend would love that. Let me take a picture." So we pull up to this wall of rock, and that's when Mike says that we're going to have to hike in from there. I thought quickly and started rubbing my ankle and told him I had sprained it the week before, and I offered that I would stay back and watch the ATVs while they went in, even though we were in the middle of nowhere, and then I faked a limp a couple steps to try and convince them, but they wouldn't hear of it. Tammy said she felt like I really needed to see the waterfall because she thought it was going to be really pretty. I told Tammy I thought she was really pretty, which was followed by an awkward moment of silence. And to make matters worse, Mike pulled out one of the guns just in case there were any rattlers, which is short for rattlesnakes. The last leg of our trip is what I like to refer to as the Trail of Tears, because at some point, Tammy turned to me and asked if I was crying. I told her it was just my allergies, and I hobbled along like a dog on his way to be put down. And we finally reached the waterfall, and Tammy went into her pocket, and I closed my eyes and braced myself, and she pulled out a camera, and she asked me to take a picture of them standing next to the waterfall because they didn't have any nice pictures together. I told her that I had been taking pictures the whole time, and when I got home, I'd send some to her. God willing, I make it there alive. And the walk back was completely uneventful, except for Tammy commenting that my ankle was suddenly healed. And I wish that I could say I had some kind of epiphany on the way back, or at least some sense of shame for making a judgment about these two nice people based on their haircuts and their taste in hobbies. But honestly, the only thing I was thinking about was what kind of head injuries might be associated with falling off an ATV while it's traveling at a high rate of speed, and why on the one day when nobody would have thought anything of it, didn't I ask to wear a helmet. Thank you.
Yay! That was a wonderful story. Thank you so much. Wow. I want her book on tape.